Good morning, students. Today we are going to start our next chapter, that is 6.3 selection. As we have discussed in staffing process, that first of all, estimation of manpower is there, then recruitment is to be done, that we have done previously yesterday, and the next step is the selection. A complete process is to be taken place while selecting a candidate because it is very much necessarily that the right person should be appointed on the right place. Whoever the person is going to be appointed at the waiting place should be full of caliber and enough competent to do that job. So selection is a deliberate effort of the organization to select a fixed number of personnel from large number of applicants. No doubt the number of applications are always very large in number and so many people applied for the job. So out of those large number of applicants, the fixed number of personnel people are to be selected by the organization, and whenever they just appointed by the organization, there is a complete process. Means whatever is to be taken into consideration, whatever is to be done, that is done intentionally. That's why it is known as the deliberate efforts. Deliberate effort means whatever that we are doing knowingly. So process of selection being once the need of the employees is determined and the process of recruitment has been completed. Under the process of recruitment, the different source of prospective employees are searched and the candidates stimulate to send their applications to the organization. In the recruitment, there is a stimulation of the candidates is to be done. They just convinced, or you can say they influence to send the application. But in whosoever are the willing person, they just send their application. But in the process of selection, according to their qualification of the job, they selected. The recruitment is just known as the positive process. On the other hand, if we talk about the nature of the selection, it is known as the negative process. Why? Because in the recruitment, we just made the effort to attract more and more applicant towards the organization. Please mark in your book, you might have the 1 mark question that why the recruitment is known as positive process or why the selection is known as negative process. But in the selection, we just made the efforts to reduce the number of applicants. We reduce the number of applicants as much we can reduce. So that's why that is known as the negative process. Here the meaning of selection is given over here in the toolkit. It refers to the process of screening the job applicants to ensure the most appropriate candidates are hired. One of the definition is to be done for the selection, and whatever you feel comfortable and appealing to you, you have to do. Now the selection process. Please mark very important topic from examination point of view. Surely you will get a long question of this, the selection process. In the different organization, the different selection processes are adopted. In the small organization, it is brief, but in the large organization, it is extensive. The main steps of the selection process are as follows. What are these? These are start from the preliminary expenses to the contract of employee. These are the various steps that are to be taken in the selection process. What are these? These are preliminary expense screening. This is selection test. This is employment interview. This is reference and background check. Next is selection decision. Next is medical examination. Next is job offer. And next is contract of employment. these are the steps are to be taken in the selection process. Firstly, I just quoted all the steps. I just read the headings only. Now I'll explain to you that how these, what are the explanation of these steps and how these steps are to be taken into consideration. So first of all, the number one, it is preliminary screening. The first step is preliminary screening. Helps the concerned manager eliminating the unqualified and unfit applicants based on the information supplied in the application form. The preliminary interview help reject the misfits for the results and which does not appear in the application form, because in the preliminary screening they just talk to the person and see whatever that is mentioned in their biodata or in curriculum vitae CV, do they other candidate is as according as it is informing to the organization. And after that, the next step is the selection test. Selection test is the process of selection test is an important place in all these tests according to their ability, skills of the candidate are measured. These tests are divided in the following tests. These are very important. The first one is your intelligence test. Second one is your aptitude test. Third is your personality test. Fourth is trait test. And fifth is interest test. See, whenever these tests take place, please keep in your mind the 1 mark question can be you find in the paper from all these types of tests, or might be you have the question in the form of case study in which you find identify the various type of tests which these are. So selection test in which the first is the intelligence test. It is used to measure the intelligence means quotient means IQ of an individual, and it is also the indicator of the person's learning ability and ability to make the decisions and judgment as well. Next is the aptitude test. It is used to measure the individual potential for the learning new skill, and it also indicates a person's capacity to develop. Personality test is used to know the clues of a person's emotions, reactions, maturity, value system, etc. And it also probes overall personality. And trait test is used to measure the existing skills of an individual, and it also measures the level of the knowledge and proficiency area of the professional as well as the technical training. And interest test is used to know the pattern of the interest involved in a person. So these are the various tests that are to be done to identify about the basic personalities, the various personality traits of the person, whether in the terms of their attitude, aptitude, IQ, their emotional values, their decision making powers, their skills, their area of interest, their proficiency in their field, the technical skills they have, everything is to be estimated and evaluated by doing the selection test. The next is our employment interview. After considering all these tests, the interview of the employee or the person is going to be selected or applied for the job, their interview is to be conducted. Having the successfully cleared all the tests related to the employment of the candidate, he is called for the final interview. Its objective to see, look at the candidate, his way of talking, his conduct of temperament, his interest, presence of mind, and maturity. The main information gathered during the course of interview is the physical quality, the verification of the academic degrees, interest in the words, quick-wittedness, general intelligence, memory power. And mostly the interviews are conducted in two types. One is the preliminary interview. In it, candidate is physically and mentally examined. For those who found that deficient are not included in the subsequent process. And it is the first stage of the process of selection, which has already been explained. And in the final interview, it is mostly conducted at two stages. In the first stage, the personal manager collect the detail informing the regarding candidate. Those who found suitable on the basis of the appraisal are directed to interview for those department manager who had put up demand for the services. And departmental manager converses face to face with the candidate on the basis of the nature of work, and having satisfied himself declares the latter successful in the interview. Next is the reference and background checks. Reference and background checks are to be done in the next step after clarifying the interview. After the candidate is declared successful in the interview, then some of the information about him is gathered from those person whose name figures into the column of the reference in the CV. This information relates to the character of the social relation and background, etc. of the candidate. To obtain the information of the employer, may also contact the friends of the candidate, his past and the present employers. Then selection decision is to be taken. Applicants who clear the selection test, employment interview, reference check are selected. Prior to taking the final selection decision, the opinion of the manager concerned is sought. Means the manager concerned here mean the manager of the department where the candidate is to be selected to do the work. After the final selection, the medical examination is to be done. At this stage, the candidate is put under the medical examination. There are the three aims: the physical fitness of the for the job concerned, to protect the business organization from the infectious diseases, and to check the excessive expenditure on the treatment of the employee. Because I hope you people know that in the good jobs, they also give us the mediclaim as well as the health insurance. If after joining the job, if you find any trouble physically, the whole expenses of your medication will be taken care by the company only. So company don't want to increase their expense unnecessarily. Moreover, the company never want to spread any infectious disease in their organization, and they want a very healthy person, because a physically fit and healthy person always can prove his or him or herself. So after that, the medical is to be done. If the medical is clear, then the job offer is given to the candidate, and the job offer is the appointment letter is handed over to him, and a date is mentioned in the appointment letter and when one has to report for the duty. After giving the job offer, the contract of the employment means after acceptance the job offer, the selected candidate, he becomes the employee of the organization, and he have to face the appointee signs various documents. The main documents among them is attestation form, and in the detail of the description of the employee is provided, which he himself attests, and this can be used at the time of need in the future. Apart from this, a written contract of employment is framed, which is the following information is provided: the job title, the responsibility the person have, rate of the regular services, rate of remuneration, allowance, working hours, leave rules, grievance removal procedure, disciplinary procedure, and termination, that how a person can be terminated, on which condition it is terminated from the services, and what are the disciplinary check to be taken care by the employee while doing the job in the organization. All these things are to be taken care under the contract of the employment. So after completing all these steps, a selection process is completed and a candidate is to be selected for the organization. So it is all about for the selection procedure, that is also a part of the staffing. If anybody have any doubt in this, please ask.